Al. Thanks for joining us. I am here with LaVonna Williams from Dryer Vent Wizard. Thank you for joining.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I think this is one of those brands that I really like to talk about because it's a little bit different. People don't always maybe think of dryer vent cleaning as a standalone business. So I appreciate you coming on to set them all straight, right?
Absolutely. That's why I'm here.
So doing this deep dive, and I know you probably did the 5-minute video with CC already. I just like to dive in a little bit deeper. So people are going to watch that video and say, okay, maybe let's get into a little bit more about the brand. So talk a little bit about Dryer Vent Wizard as a brand, as far as customers that they serve, how long they've been around. Give us kind of the lowdown on the business.
So I personally have had the honor of working with this brand I have my 13th year anniversary coming up in May. I had the honor to work side by side with the founder of Dryer Event Wizard, who was also the founder of Mr. Handyman as well. But we've been in
Okay.
business for um, over 24 years. So founded in 2004, started franchising in 2006. And it was initially a brand that really started initially to focus on an owner operator model, right? Really simple model, allowed a great opportunity for someone that wanted to start in the van and be their own boss and service residential customers, cleaning
Okay.
and repairing the dryer venting system. But
Okay.
over the years, we've really expanded, and now, one van can't meet the demand. We clean, repair, reroute, install the dryer venting system, and also other services such as delinting the dryer, washer hoses, just really centered around educating the homeowner or businesses, making sure that their home is safe and up to code. And now, too, dryer fires are one of the number one reasons for household fires. So over the years, we've expanded into that. We have over 165 franchise locations
Wow.
today.
That's
Yes.
crazy. Okay.
Yes. And we're part of Neighborly Brands, which is one of the largest family of home service brands. So we're excited to where we are today.
And I love my neighborly brands. I mean, I think I always say this in that the amount of support at Neighborly is pretty much you can't match it, right? There's thousands of people at
Mhm.
the corporate
Yeah.
at the corporate location supporting these franchisees. So it may read like a small business, but it's supported like a big business. So talk a little bit then. Just I want to truly dig into the service a little bit. How often do people clean vents? How often are you coming out? What is the ticket? Like, I just think it's one of those businesses that it's hard to believe that we can build and one business around something like that. And then you just said one van's not enough in the community. We need more of them. So yeah, tell me what I'm not seeing.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. There we have, primarily two different customers, the ones that have a problem and need our service, right? And that's a big part of what we do is we fix problems. We educate people and create
Okay.
that awareness of the dryer fires and the dangers of that being one of the number one reasons for household fires. But
Okay.
typically this brand is really centered around scaling. You starting with one van and beginning to scale from there. It allows an easy work life balance for technicians, right? You can start your day at 8 and finish at 2 and be able to have that easy work life balance. So one van would probably handle about 3 to 4 jobs a day, depending on how that
Okay.
franchise owner would manage the business. Um,
Okay.
and really what's key, what we do when we come to the home, it is centered around education. When we come into the home, it's a full process of interacting with the customer and also helping them be aware of other hidden dangers associated with the home, such as your washer hoses. People don't know that that is a danger and you should have your washer hoses replaced every 6 years. So it's an educational, it's a full inspection once we get into the customer's home. We do a check-in and it's very transparent. So we offer, good, better, best situation to that customer to make sure that their home is safe. And we make sure that they understand, what they need to do to make that happen and that we're here to help.
Very cool. And so talk a little bit about the day in the life of the owner. Is the owner the one that's going into the home and doing the work? Is the owner the one, dispatching the technicians? How does it work?
Well, that used to be the case. The franchise owner would come into the home and actually do the inspections. But now we're looking for those executive owners, someone that wants to build a team and focus on their day in the life is more so hiring and building that team, creating awareness about, dryer fires. There's a dryer fire every 36 minutes in North America. I bet you didn't know that, Lisa. Or maybe
Oh,
so, because I probably
I did
said it.
not know that. I'm already thinking like, oh my gosh, Have I had my dryer vent fixed? I don't know. Now I have to have it fixed, right? Or check or something.
That's a little bit about what we do is we scare the bejesus out of people and let them know that as far as homeowners and businesses. And it's also insurance driven as well. So you see insurance companies starting to require that regular maintenance on multi-unit housing or businesses. And so with a franchise owner, their focus is to create that awareness,
Okay.
getting out into the community and educating those homeowners, as well as those businesses that are in need and may not know. Today, the day in the life of that franchise owner is communicating with our call center. So we have a full-time call center that books the appointments. The brand is really centered around simplicity to help that franchise owner to have an easy work-life balance as well, simplify their day-to-day. But their day-to-day is building and focusing on building a team, educating people, focusing on their marketing, and scaling the business by adding multiple vans as you begin to grow.
All right, very interesting. So talk a little bit about how you support the franchise owners in that first year of startup. I think that's I will say it on different videos. The easiest thing to do is to start the business. Like truly, all of this part, although it's a lot of work and it's a lot of education and it's not that hard to start the business, but being in business for that first year is where you want the hand holding and the heavy duty support. So talk a little bit about what that first year looks like as far as a support angle for the new franchise owners.
It starts from the very beginnings. First of all, in the process, when I'm helping those potential franchise owners get into the process, right? Being kind of their tour guide, taking them through our mutual valuation process. And then once they're awarded a franchise, kind of that next step is getting them connected with their Sure Start coordinator. So their Sure Start business coach is their right hand person. They're working side by side with them to help them with some of the basics of the business, building out, ordering your van, getting your tools, kind of laying the foundation of the business right there at the beginning. So we're right there, hands on, getting your DBA, all of those things that you need to do. We're so hands on, we start off with training them. And we provide that ongoing training. So there's no licenses typically needed in this industry. It's very license limited. And so we take on that role to provide that ongoing training to the franchise owners and their technicians because we're always evolving and changing from there. So that's pretty key. And that first step is getting that business coach working side by side with them in that process.
And from an employee standpoint, are they starting out with one employee, one person to be able to go out and do the work? Okay.
Yes, it's a home-based business, and that's a big part of the simplicity as well. You scale the business by adding vans and one technician per van. We have a lot of systems in place and tools in place so that one technician can handle being in the home. For example, being able to move the dryer. We have the equipment to make it easy for one person
Right.
to manage
Okay.
that piece to do that. Then, as I mentioned, the call center. So they get a local phone number, franchise owners, and that number goes right into the call center, and they book those appointments. They also help them for their reoccurring appointments, right? When we come into the home, we assess how often that customer needs their vents clean again, because it is recurring revenue there and repeat
Okay.
business. And then the call center will reach out to that customer when it's time to have those vents cleaned again. So we're
Okay.
very hands-on with that piece. We also have a remarkable marketing team where we're focused on that local marketing performance effort with those franchise owners, helping them with the local piece as well as building the brand. So we're hands-on with that and also giving them all of their tools and their resources to be able to market, to make it easy for them, right? Streamline those efforts so that they don't have to find a marketing digital work or anything like that. We're very
Right.
hands-on in providing those tools and resources to help them be successful. You don't have to be a marketing maven to do this work. We really want to be hands-on in that pace. And we also provide field training. So we're coming out to those locations and
Okay.
focusing on supporting those franchise owners as well.
Talk a little bit about the cost, the investment to get into the business. For those that are watching, item 7 in that FDD is what we're going to talk about right now. Item 7 is going to be a low to high range of total investment into the business. It's going to include your franchise fee, all of your equipment to get into the business. Also, a really important, I think, line item is going to be working capital. It's going to give you 3 months of working capital to plan for running your business as your business scales. Yeah, go ahead.
That initial investment is between 80,900 to 159,400. And
Okay.
you're right, that's going to include your franchise fee. It's going to include all of the expenses that you need working capital to get that business up and running for the first 3 months. 3 months payments for your van, for your all of your tools, even 3 months of supplies and your insurance that you'll need. So it'll check the box for every aspect that you need to get that business up and running. We like to see someone have at the minimum at least 50,000 additional capital liquid beyond that initial investment.
Because they're owner operators, right? Even though they're not going to be in the van, this is a full-time business. This isn't something they're keeping their corporate position and running on the side, right?
Right. We want to, we are firm believers. If you get out of it what you put into it. So yes, at the beginning, you want to be able to put in that full-time effort, building the business, creating the team, and focusing on creating that awareness of the importance of having your regular maintenance just on your dryer vent, just like you have your regular maintenance on your oil change for your car.
Right.
It is just that important.
Well, talk a little bit about the item 19. Again, for those watching, in that franchise disclosure document, item 19 is where you can get some sort of idea of revenue generated from existing franchisees and business for the previous calendar year. Remember, it's not a crystal ball. It's not how much money you're going to make. It's a rear view mirror. How much money did everyone else generate? And we'll talk about that. But give us an understanding, LaVonna, of what your item 19 looks like for Dryer Vent Wizard.
We share our average annual gross sales going from the top to the bottom. Our average annual gross sales for 2024 was 240,386 to be exact. Those are typically those owner operators that we do have. We still have owner operators in the business that are in the van doing the work when I speak of owner operators, but our focus is someone that's going to scale and grow. So scaling and growing looks like, adding those vans. And so that's going to look like our top, we just had those numbers on, but for example, our top 50%, our average annual gross sales for that is 384,000. Top 25% is about 554,000. So again, as you scale and grow from there, our item 19 also shows our top sales owner who had over 2.4 million in sales in 2024.
Talk about how many vans he has.
I believe he has about 7 vans that are on the road. Yeah. And he focuses on all 3 lines of business. So I don't know if I mentioned that. That is the marketing that we're doing is focusing on residential customers, multi-unit like condo associations, apartment complexes. And then that third base is commercial businesses that frequently use dryers. Now you'll think of hair care, pet care, adult care, laundromats, small size hotels. It's not a joke, really. Our target market is anyone who wears clothes. You think about it, 80% of the homes have dryers and 100% of those dryers produce lint. If you don't have a dryer, you go to a laundromat. That is a customer of ours as well.
It sounds like franchise profile is going to be pretty typical of my home service neighborly brands, right? Someone who can lead a team, crunch the numbers, get out in the community, isn't afraid to shake a hand, but it's not necessarily cold calling. It's a little bit more just kind of community awareness, right?
It's absolutely not cold calling. I would say this is a great brand that someone that doesn't want to sell something to someone that they may or may not need. It is a needed service. Period. Without anything being said. So that's what that homeowner is going to focus on, is making sure people understand that that is a fire hazard and that is important to us as well. So those are going to be key things. And I want to go back to support a little bit. I forgot about, I don't know how I could forget about ProTradeNet, which is our supply vendor. Being under neighborly brands, ProTradeNet is a supply vendor that actively goes out and builds relationships with all the vendors that a business owner would need to run their business. All of the top 3 automakers, Ford and GM, and anything that you think of that you would need from your business, gas cards or phone companies, and insurance, even benefits that you can also offer for yourself and your employees. So very hands-on support as far as that aspect too.
Talk a little bit about what is the misconception. We talk about these businesses and have these brand deep dives in it. And I've had people say, Lisa, you're the eternal optimist. Everything looks great. Everything is wonderful. I'm like, I kind of like that reputation. Like, that's okay. But talk a little bit, like, what are the tough questions? What's the hardest part of the business? How does neighborly help? Or what's a misconception that maybe if we can get people over that hump, they would be more open to learning?
I would say the biggest misconception is that there's not enough market. There's not enough demand in dryer vent cleaning. And that's truly one of the biggest. It really is. Once you get into the weeds of things, it is lint, it is cleaning lint, but it gets real sexy when you start to look at the margins and you start to look at the scalability of the business. But really the potential for growth is key as well. So most people assume that it's not enough. But again, as I mentioned, we service 3 lines of business. All 3 are repeat. That is what folks are looking for, right? Dryer Vent Wizard really checks the box to remove that uncertainty. I know a lot of that may be out there. People are uncertain and feeling confident of going in business for themselves, but it does allow you that opportunity. So the fire safety hazard part of it, we look for franchise owners that are passionate about helping people. That is what we're doing, right? We're helping people, helping them understand what's important. We're looking for owners that are looking to scale a business, that are looking to focus on fixing problems. Those are kind of the key things. I will tell you this, I've been with this brand for this long, and I would say, I don't think we've had anyone that's had dryer vent cleaning experience in this business, right? Most of the folks come from all walks of life and backgrounds, IT and accounting and risk management has been one of the common backgrounds in Dryer Vent Wizards. So that says something, that someone that's in financial.
Right? Risk management.
Right.
That's very cool. I don't know if this is in your item 19, if you can talk about it, but like, what is the average ticket? What does it cost for someone to come out and do this service?
Well, it's a lot. It's not in our item 19 this
Okay.
year, but it's definitely my role to make sure that I help folks find that out by talking to franchise owners and hearing straight from those owners. But again, because we offer so many services, as far as once we're in the home, bathroom vents and kitchen vents, it is much higher than you would assume, that
Okay.
people would assume.
How interesting. Well, I have to go find one, right? I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't think I've ever had that done, so I have to find it out. So, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. For those of you watching, this is an interesting one. I mean, I think if your servant heart, obviously, like we talked about, you're doing a great service for your community, helping prevent home fires. It has to be, it's just going to make your heart happy, right? So
Yeah.
definitely reach out, call, email, carrier pigeon, whatever it takes. I'm everywhere, easy to get a hold of, and I can get you to the front of the line with LaVonna. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate yours as well.